Tara Enneking here, the Puyallup Sumner Chamber of Commerce. I am excited to be bringing you from the Puyallup Sumner Chamber of Commerce our City of Puyallup Candidate C-Suite podcast series. That's a mouthful there. I will be joined with Luke Corum here as my co-host for these. Luke?
Yeah, I'm Luke Corum. I'm with Puyallup Nissan. I'm also on the board here at the Puyallup Sumner Chamber of Commerce, and I help this time of year with the candidate interviews like we're doing today.
Woohoo! Fantastic. So the why behind these interviews, we are not an organization that is doing endorsements. So really the purpose is just to reach you where you're at so that you can hear directly from them. We hope that we tee up enough informative questions so you understand what issues are important to these candidates. Maybe have a little fun with them so we can also see, personality and what kind of things, get their goat or they have fun with. So again, I just hope you find this informative. That's the intent. And we are today here with Renne Gilliam, who is our candidate at the at-large position. She does have an opponent. We spoke with Shelley Willis yesterday. So we have two formidable, wonderful women, and you're going to hear about, a little bit of the differences of each today. Renne is currently the Career and Technical Education teacher for Puyallup School District. She was a former program director for the YMCA Puyallup Youth Investment Center, a past Rotary president. I'm sure we'll hear more of where she has spread her intelligence and experience and assets into the community. I also know you have a long time historical family presence in Puyallup, I hear. So anxious to hear about Grandma, I think it is. So anyway, Renne Gilliam, without further ado, welcome.
Well, thank you very much, Tara. Thank you, Luke, for having me. That was a great tee-up, so I'm like, hey, you just told my story. I'm just going to walk away now. No, okay, so even further back than my grandmother. So if you're familiar with Puyallup, where the Ram and Walmart are located, there used to be a dairy farm there. And that was my great-grandparents, Louis and Louise Barth, who owned that dairy farm. And a little fun fact, my grandmother was their first child, and their second child, Charlie Barth, had a vet clinic on that hill, but he also is the South Hill Rotary president. He helped start the South Hill Rotary.
Wow.
So a little more fun fact there.
Sure.
But my grandmother was the Puyallup historian. She was best known in Puyallup as the soap lady. She would go and collect soap and left behind clothing and shampoo and conditioners from the local hotels, and she would bring them home. I remember as a little girl being in her house and that smelled like soap because she'd be drying it out and cleaning it and repackaging and sending it overseas. So there's a legacy in my family of serving the Puyallup community.
I love it.
Yeah.
So hey, you've worn many hats. What drew you to running for city council?
Yeah, why city council? Why would anybody in their right mind put themselves out
included.
there? Okay, so here's how this came about.
Yes.
I lived in South Africa for a year of my life, and I learned from the poor. I learned from being away from home. I learned from just putting myself in a space where I was in the unfamiliar. And I remember God putting it on my heart to open a drop-in center for teens back home. And part of me is like, how can I go out when home needs some help? Mm-hmm. Not that I'm detracting from going out, but for me personally, it's how do I help make home better? So when I came home, the only person I knew serving the population I wanted was Bill Bowers with Friends and Servants. Mm-hmm. I happened to be one of his kids from back in the day. Yeah. I was the first female in the participant, and I was the first volunteer because I never got caught for anything that I did. But my peers and I were the troublemakers in the park, and that's all I'm going to say about that today. People can ask me, I'll tell you. But when I came back from Africa, I was like, wow, I really want to make a difference with young people in my community. So Friends and Servants was going strong. The Youth Investment Center had not opened yet, but I remember meeting with Bill when I got back, and I was like, Bill, this is in my heart. And he was like, oh my gosh, Renne, guess what's about to happen? So I started volunteering, and the Youth Center opened up, and I fell in love with what was happening. And I remember Bill coming to me saying, hey, you're really good at working with these young people. How about you hang out a little bit more? And I was like, well, how about you help me out?
Yes, exactly.
So I ended up stepping in for just 8 hours a week. And then I fell in love with it even more. And I said, hey, if a full-time position opens up, I'd really be honored. Yeah. So something opened up. I had to take a pay cut and move back in with family because I wasn't making enough working in the nonprofit sector. So I had to move back in with family. But I felt like it was making a huge difference in the community. And I think I remember Luke coming in and volunteering one time, shooting some pool with the kids and kind of like walking them through life a little bit.
Yeah.
So just making time for that. And then when Bill retired, I said, hey, please develop me. I want this. So I became the director. And when I became director, I really wanted to help kids connect in the community and not just in our facility. So I found myself volunteering with the kids through See a Need, Fill a Need. It's something that we kind of created.
Yeah.
Because teenagers are, junior high is tell me I'm great. High school is let me show you I'm great.
Right.
And then creating a mentorship program within the age group, but then how do you go out and take your talents into the community? So as we were volunteering with the local nonprofits, the local businesses, just cleaning up the parks and the streets, inviting civic leaders to come in and meet the students so that they knew who to go to affect what level of change, I found myself developing a network. I even, Tara, check this out, I even had the opportunity to do the Leadership Institute.
Oh, good.
And that changed my world.
Oh,
because with the
wonderful to hear.
Leadership Institute, you learn how to network and make a project move forward in your community.
Right.
Right?
Oh, I love it.
Oh, it was amazing.
Yay.
So I think
There's a precipice of your
it is.
desire to. I love it.
Yes. So I didn't even realize I was making all these relationships.
Sure.
But then I was paying attention. I'm like, wow, if I can do it for the young people, why can't I do it for my city? I couldn't afford to live in Puyallup on my wage.
Uh-oh.
So make a long story short, and a few other amazing opportunities later. Like I got the opportunity to be a part of the Citizens Academy with the police department.
Yeah.
And I, being a young person causing trouble,
Yes.
my first instinct with officers was not one of welcome
Yes.
until I became a mature adult and realized they were there for safety and support.
Yep.
And then helping the young people have that experience. So I had to go and learn for myself how to help engage and learn what they were up to and what they faced. And then I was a greater advocate for that. So Leadership Institute, Chamber of Commerce, and the Citizens Academy,
Yep.
and then the opportunity to be president of Rotary.
Right.
It just, all these puzzle pieces came together. So when COVID hit, like many of us, I lost my job. So what do you do when you didn't go to college and all you want to do is serve your community? Well, I ended up getting hired on at Anthem. So I don't know if you recall, I was a barista there for about 9 months.
Yeah.
I chose Anthem because it's the hub of Puyallup in a lot of ways.
Oh, sure.
And a lot of people come through. And I figured if I could help you have a good day, you'll have a good meeting. And that meeting will go well. And then whatever happens outside of that, it'll be a ripple effect into Puyallup.
We agree with that fun aspect.
I remember when I first heard that you were running for city council, I saw Bill Bowers, and I said, Renne, the little I did know of you, I knew you're great in our community with teens, and I didn't see you as a politician. And the first thing he said to me was, she's always wanted to be mayor. So is that, I guess that you've been pretty vocal.
Mayor is kind of a big...
Yeah, she always wanted to be
I
mayor.
wanted to serve in a way that would bring attention to our community for us to be cohesive and work well together.
Yeah.
And I think you have to lead by example. So you have to put in the work. You have to, I think it's something that's been in my heart to help us all work together. So, yeah.
When you had the civic leaders come in and speak with the teens when you were working, how did they react to that? What was that experience like? Did they get inspired, or are they more discouraged? Because sometimes politics and young people just doesn't mix when that happens.
Well, I think politics in and of itself really is supposed to be service to the people and service for the people, not ego. So when we had our civic leaders come in, they were wonderful. I was like, whoa, I want to be part of that team, which is actually why I'm going for an open seat. But do you remember Mayor Malloy back in the day? He came in and the kids loved him. We had Mayor Knudsen come in, and he's a boxer lover, and so the kids got to see that side of him. We had Julie Dorr. So it was like they came in, and I think for the politician, it was like, I can have fun.
Sure.
I didn't have to wear a hat. I could just share what happens on the city level. We actually did a city hall takeover where the teens got to vote for each other for the different positions.
Oh, I love it.
And they had to run a meeting in City Hall and talk through a challenging budget situation.
I love it.
So they were getting this really, and I think the students were really inspired. So inspiring young people in older bodies is something that I'm very pro. Let's help everybody work together.
Yeah. So you've been doorbelling. I know
Yes,
that as part
ma'am.
of some campaign strategy there. I think that
Yes.
grassroots effort's great. Obviously, at large, you've got a lot of doors to get to.
That is true.
What kind of time are you able to carve out to do this kind of stuff to campaign?
I'm
yourself?
trying to do it when people are home.
Yep.
So it's pretty much every day in the evenings.
Yep, okay.
And I've been having some great success in meeting new friends.
Good.
I'm choosing intentionally to be nonpartisan.
Yeah.
I've chosen to not be endorsed by a political party
Right.
because my heart is to serve all of Puyallup, not an agenda.
Sure.
So that is something that's been very, very important to me.
What kind of issues are you hearing at the door?
You know,
most
that is a
important to them?
fabulous question. Bigger than anything else, it is the homeless situation,
Yep.
and it's public safety.
Right.
So to find quality answers, in my mind, really are to help the community network together. We have a lot of beautiful, wonderful, active nonprofits, and we have resources in our community. I would really like to be an advocate for helping the community connect a little bit more so there's more communication between, and then maybe even hopefully somebody will step up. I don't know if it's wise for the city to take responsibility for this, but for somebody to step up and be a liaison to help people get where they need to go rather than, oh, you can try this resource and you could try that resource, but literally have a case
Right.
manager type who knows all of the nonprofits to help navigate that system a little bit more clearly. So I would love to advocate for that. I'd also like to advocate for a lot more, how do I say this, community block parties where people are connecting with their neighbors and not just at a park.
Yeah.
I'd really also like to find a way for accurate information to be flowed out to the community because people are emotional and they read posts and they put their thoughts out there and then people think that thought is fact when it's an opinion.
Right.
And so how do we actually get fact floating in through our community so
Sure.
that people have accurate information?
How do you do that? Is that fact checkers or how?
Well, depending on so from a city perspective,
Yeah.
what we know and what the city would be doing. I'm talking as if I'm the city,
Yeah.
but from the city perspective, I think we need to have information at grocery stores where people go every day for what they need. I think we need to have like just different spots around the community. Farmers market, I think that there needs to be a presence because there's a flood of people that come to Puyallup to be at
Sure.
farmers market. So wherever the hot spots are or where people need to go, we need to have something there that gives accurate information out and not just social media opinion driven stuff. That's my own idea.
So public safety, homelessness are the top two. Is there any? Because we've heard that theme now for the last few years. Is there any other things that you're hearing? Any narratives or?
Those are the main. One surprised me, and I don't even know even where to begin on this, but one constituent was concerned about South Hill becoming its own city.
Oh yeah.
I would have to do some research on that because I'm like, I have no idea. And would that hurt or help? I have no idea. I have so much to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they've talked about incorporating more up there. When it comes to what kind of answers do you see resonate the best instead of, because sometimes when we hear politicians or people running for office talk about public safety, we hear about, these real vague or generalizations like, mental health facilities thing, like some more direct answers that you give that seem to resonate with people. Is there, like when someone says, hey, there's someone on my lawn and I kick them off and they come back 2 weeks later, what's some things that you've
I think there definitely needs to be some collaboration with Pierce County and state because Puyallup alone, I don't know if we have the financial deep pockets to be able to fund a full facility ourselves.
Yeah.
I'm pretty proud of the fact that we do have the hotel program and that it's an accountability piece, but it's for people who want help, and the challenge really is for the people who don't want help. So when somebody breaks the law and they're not mentally stable, what do we do with them? So our jail really shouldn't be a house for that. We do need a greater solution, and that's where I think we need to do more partnership with Pierce County or state level.
When you worked with the youth here at the Youth Investment, and you did a great job, by the way, a lot of all those years of doing that.
Thank you.
Did you notice a trend where you would see more and more kids come into that program as you went on, or did it stay about the same? Like, did you?
Wow, you're asking me to think back a little bit
Yeah.
because we unfortunately lost our building the last year that it was open,
That's right,
and so we shrunk considerably just for space consideration. we were thriving the greatest when we had the ability to go out into the community and serve. There was a shift of leadership that required us to stay within our building, and that's where we lost a lot of participants. Because then we had to entertain kids within a space rather than helping them get out into the community and serve more. So if I were to redo anything, it would be making sure people are helping each other connect to their community and not just to a program.
I notice a lot of your assets, just even how you're speaking, you articulate well, you're very personable, clearly compassionate. What kinds of, I guess, assets or skills do you think you'll be bringing to the makeup of the city council that you think you can leverage and try to help, move initiatives forward? And I guess I'll also add to that, are there other organization or other volunteer opportunities you've had where you might be able to leverage other relationships in the community too, to kind of do that synergy thing you were talking about, where you are convening and pulling more resources together?
Yes. If you have an opportunity, I really encourage you to go to my website, Renne, wa.com.
Okay.
And it'll show a list of my endorsements.
Yes. And you can name some of those.
Wow.
You like.
It's considered literally all the local leadership.
Okay.
So I have executive Bruce Stanmeyer, who is, to me, the furthest removed, but he is pretty influential. And then I have our legislative and senators. So I have Senator Chris Gildon, legislative representatives Kelly Chambers and Cindy Jacobson. And then more locally, I have Councilmember Julie Dorr, Councilmember John Palmer, Council Member Dennis King, and then I have some more like older great representation, like former Mayor Kathy Turner, former Council Member Heather Shadko, and former, what was Hans? Almost everything in Puyallup. Hans Zeiger.
Senator,
yes.
County Council.
Yes. And the reason why I have such a wide range, and from historical to present, if I could say it like that, is because of my track record of serving in our community. So I'm pretty connected with Rotary, pretty connected with Kiwanis, very connected with our local nonprofits because I would take teens to go serve.
Sure.
So Step by Step, the food bank, St. Francis, the Armory when it was open, they're the local places where people needed support. We would go and help them connect so that when they might have those resources needs, they already knew where to go and who to talk to. So just to remove some of the fear of asking for help. If you walk within a 5-block radius of Pioneer Park, you will hit every pillar that a community has in it. Police, fire, city, veterans, food bank, school,
right.
Homes, like a business. So I would say what the asset that I bring to City Council would be trusted integrity because of years of proven influence, because I already have relationship. It's active. I don't have to ask for it. I can help something move forward quickly. A current project that I'm working on with my Rotary Club in the city of Puyallup is we're putting a teen center in the library.
Right.
That's something I'm really proud of. That's step number 1.
Right.
Step number 2 would be, how do we help the community to collaborate to work better together, just so that we can bring some healing and relationship to each other.
Sure.
So Chamber is a huge piece of that, right? Like, you're helping businesses come back alive after COVID. We got to do a little, how do we help our community come back alive and reconnect and value
Food
your
Bank
neighbor?
hosting those navigation partner kind of summits, I'm assuming you were probably part of those. I think those conversations have started, and you're right.
Yes.
There's so many great people marching in similar objectives, but in different directions, and pulling that together and having some agencies that are willing to kind of lead that.
Yes.
I know that Josh, who used to work at Food Bank, has his Thrive, I think, nonprofit.
Yes.
That's another piece of it, is pulling all those resources together.
Yes.
So I think the seed's been planted, but you're right. We need support of City Council and folks to get engaged in that process.
Yes. And I have those relationships to help pull those together.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So some fun questions. Where's the best place to get a meal in Puyallup?
Boy.
Okay, that's not fair because
fair.
we have a lot.
Yeah.
But if you're asking for my personal favorite,
Yeah.
it would have to be Giorgio's, hands down.
Okay.
It's healthy and delicious, and I never get sick of their food.
What's your favorite thing to order there?
Okay, so
so
I
good.
always
Give me a
get,
side dish.
when I'm You know what? Okay, some people just love to be spontaneous, and I do.
Yeah.
But my go-to is a half order of the authentic Greek salad with a side order of gyro meat. Like, it just fills me up, and it's tasty, and sometimes I have leftovers, but it just is always delicious.
What about an outdoorsy place that most people wouldn't know of? Someone mentioned, like, the Coursey Park, but somewhere like a hike, a pond, I don't think we have any lakes around here, but...
Wow. Okay, so, like, my favorite park in Puyallup.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not allowed to say the spray park because it's Kiwanis built. But I do love that it brings community together.
I don't even know, where is that?
Oh,
It's right in front of Anthem.
Oh, okay.
Like
Spray
Pioneer Park,
Okay,
yes.
I thought
Yes.
that makes sense.
I'm excited for the restrooms to finish being built, so that that opens right back up again. So I guess I'm a hometown girl. I just love Pioneer Park.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the Rotary stage right on there. A little shout out for Rotary.
Fun events and stuff.
Yeah, how it brings community together.
What's some of the best advice you've received in running a campaign since you are new to this?
Yeah. So every advice I get is just be yourself.
Yeah.
I've already been proven with my integrity and character and years of service, but it really is just get out there and doorbell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think doorbell. That's a good one.
Yeah.
And you said you've done 1,200 doors?
Yes, I have. I looked back at how many flyers I've ordered because I'm completely out.
Yeah.
I actually just got another 1,000 before coming here today.
Yeah.
So.
Is there a preferred time you like to do your doorbelling? Is there?
Yeah, when people are home, so I can meet them. It's on the evenings, so basically 4:30 or 5 p.m. until about 8. It just depends on how long my body will last. After my motorcycle accident, I don't go as far.
Yeah. I was going to ask in what ways your life has changed since that accident. Again, you are a community presence. We all knew about it. We all prayed for you.
Isn't that crazy? I think I broke records of visitors.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like I was blown away, and partially again why I love Anthem is somebody told Brian, and then Brian said, "Hey, if you're ordering for Renne, comp the whole order."
Aww.
And I think I posted on social media, I was like, hey, all I want is a blended white mocha from Anthem and flowers. And then I had one, if not two a day.
Wow.
While I'm in the hospital, I'm like advertising Anthem. Please forgive me, the question was how my life has changed. I'm back on the motorcycle. I have a new one.
Yeah. What do you have?
I have a Harley-Davidson Sportster 883 XL.
Ooh.
I'm excited to save up some more money and purchase either a Lowrider S or the Pan America.
Okay.
I'm debating on if I want to stay on the cruiser or if I want to be able to go off-road.
Yep.
But when the weather changes, my body feels it. I literally have a chain and bolt and 20 screws holding my pelvis back together.
Wow.
And then I had knee surgery, so I walk with a limp sometimes when my leg gets swollen. I start to feel it, but I'm happy to be alive.
Oh,
and I'm happy to keep pushing through because, shoot, I mean, there's so much more to life, and I get to live it, and I'm okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thankfully.
That's. I remember it was coming from a charity. It wasn't the crab feed at the.
Yeah, I was driving
State
home
Fair.
after the very
Crab
last
Fest.
Rotary crab feed, 10:30 at night. A 22-year-old, she had just turned 22 a week before, just failed to see the headlight and didn't register the single headlight, and she just pulled out in front of me.
Yeah.
But I followed up with her a year and a half later, and she's fine. Yeah, she's totally fine.
She's fine. And she was driving, right?
She was driving.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine
But
something
just
hitting your
traumatic
car?
pain, yeah.
Oh my Lord! And then not knowing if that person survived or not.
Right.
So I just wanted to make sure
So
she was
you
okay.
Kind of connect the dots and bring it full circle for
Yeah.
for all parties. That's
So you mentioned
gracious of you.
Pioneer Park's your hangout spot. Is that where most people could find you to talk with you? Your doorbelling? I mean, is that like?
You know, I've debated on doing like a coffee with a candidate and just kind of travel around to the different coffee places and let people know where I'm at. Anthem's pretty busy, so I don't, as much as I want to be at Anthem, we wouldn't be able to hear each other. So I think on my fan page for my Facebook fan page, I'll post where I'm going to be. And just on a Saturday mid-afternoon, say, hey, coffee with a candidate, come meet me. Here's where I'll be. But, yeah.
Great idea.
Yeah.
Is there anything we haven't touched upon that you might want folks to know about you?
Wow. I am excited to meet you, and I hope that after you do your research that I earn your vote in November.
you gotta always ask for the vote. So
Yeah.
kudos for you on that, Candidate 101.
Thank you.
Well, we're excited. There's just some great candidates this season, and best of luck to you.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you so much for being here today. I think it came across very authentic, and I think people can learn a lot from both of you and make their own decisions. So best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Renee.
Luke. Appreciate it.
Sarah.
All right. Stay tuned for the next one. We're going to be speaking to Lauren Adler soon. So we've got Shelley Willis in the can. We've got Renee Gilliam in the can. I think that's what they say. Maybe not. But we will have Lauren Adler next, and we hope to keep working our way around to the rest of the candidates. So stay tuned for the next one.